everyone, welcome. My name is Lauren. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 girls ages 9, 8, and 4, and today I want to do an in-depth look at the Abeka language arts program. Now, if you have not already seen the videos that I've done before, I've done a lesson with my first grader. I'll link that below, and then I have done an in-depth look at the lesson plan book, the homeschool lesson plan book. If you've not seen that already, that lesson plan book is a mammoth, and I'll link that video below of like how I break it down and how I personally juggled it, and maybe it'll be helpful to you, and maybe it won't, and if that's okay if it's not. But I did want to do an in-depth look because I kind of mentioned in other videos that I wanted to take more of an in-depth look at the Abeka first grade language arts program. So I'm going to be talking about like what worked for us, what didn't work for us, and how I kind of maneuvered things to fit my daughter's needs. Now, this is specifically for my daughter. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to do it this way or that your kids are going to learn the same way as she did. Obviously, you know, they're all different and they all learn different ways, but this is just if you notice that your child is struggling, and I'll kind of mention areas that we didn't love as much, and maybe this will be helpful to you, hopefully. So I'm gonna get started on the video. I'm gonna do a flip through. I'm gonna go through each of her language arts books and kind of explain how we did it. So stay tuned. Let's start with spelling and poetry level 1. So there are 30 lists, so it does not start, even though Abeka is 34 weeks worth of lessons, they don't start the spelling until week 3. And then here is a list of poems, and they are broken down by months, and so that just helps organize it a little bit more. So it's going to start off pretty gently for first grade. It's going to start off with just CVC words, and then these blue words are going to be sight words or advanced words. So you can see that every week has just 2 pages worth of spelling exercises. I'm going to go through here, give you an idea of how this is. Now, you see here, sh and ship and thick, or the and this and thick. These are going to be targeted special sounds. Now, the special sounds you will learn in the language book as well. There's probably 150 special sounds. So obviously they can't do all of them every, that wouldn't work. They would be very overwhelmed with special sounds spelling words. I think what they're doing though is taking the most common special sounds, or the ones that, the words that might be misspelled the most. And that is how they're taking their approach. They do have these review lessons every once in a while, but you can kind of get an idea how this works. So how I approached spelling was we would always go through the words. Mondays, we would say the words out loud, just to make sure she could pronounce them all. She would say them, spell them, say them. Then she would do one of these pages. So this would be Monday. And then this, on Tuesday, she would go through all the words. Now, she liked to do them independently. It gave her a sense of, taking ownership of her spelling words. And so that's how we did it. Some children may want to do the spelling words out loud with you, or just copy them by themselves. You have to just find whatever is going to work for you. This is kind of what worked for us. So she would say them by herself out loud, spell them, say the word itself. Then Tuesday she would do this exercise. Then over here, back here, is homework. Now, most homeschoolers are not assigning homework, but some people do. I did not assign homework, but what I did do was, I didn't do this until a few lessons in. So on Wednesday, for example, so the first 2 days she would do the activities here. Then Wednesdays, she would still say the word, spell them, say them, and she would write half of her list here. Thursday, she would do the same thing, say them, spell them, say them, and then write the other half. Oh, she didn't that week, but every other week she did. And so that's just what worked for us. That is what gave her the practice in spelling them as well. And so that worked really, really well for us. So that is just how we did it, but you could do this any way you like. You could maybe copy this and the front and the back every week and have your child write the list front and back every single day you can make it however work for you, however you want. Next, we have letters and sounds and language. I was honestly debating, like, should I just do one of these? Should I do the other? What is the difference? Why do they have two language books, like language arts books? So I carefully reviewed the samples as best as I could. I did check out YouTube videos as best as I could to see what the difference was. And I came to the conclusion that I did, in fact, need both of them. And so I got both of them. You don't have to, it just depends on what you're looking for, but I'll kind of do a flip through so that you'll be able to see and hopefully be judge whether you need one, both, or yeah. So let's start with letters and sounds. So this is phonics. This is going to be focusing on phonics. So as you can see here, they're going to be doing things like marking vowels. They're going to be listening for things like hat starts with H. This is at the beginning, so it's quite easy, but it does progress. They're also going to be circling the special sounds. They're going to be doing that a lot, and circling the special sounds just helps them to not only be able to be a better speller, but to understand that those two or three letters always go together to make that sound, and it just helps them to become a fluent reader quicker. So you can get an idea here. They're going to be pretty much every day doing a special sound. So it's really, really focusing on the phonics part of it. There's not too much writing in this one. There is a little bit, but not too much. This is when they're starting to realize that you need to double the final consonant in certain words, and the rule explains that. But again, lots of marking the special sounds, circling the special sounds, writing opposite words. This is lesson 108, so you're almost finished the school year. You're still doing the special sounds. Again, not too much writing here and there, words here and there, but no sentences or anything like that. You might be filling in sentences, but for the most part, you're not really doing anything other than really, really focusing and fine-tuning those phonics skills in this book. So, some of the pages are falling out. So these are the very last pages of this book. So we're on lesson 160, and they're just now asking you to write sentences. So bear with me though, bear with me. We're going to get to the other book now. So you can see how that was. These last pages fell out. Some people take the pages out. I kept them in the book, and that just worked really well for us. Okay, language. Now, this is grammar, creative writing, and reading comprehension. So both books are going to bring something a little bit different to the table. So that is why I got both of them. And I feel like it was a little bit less intimidating for her to do one page out of this book and one page out of the other book. Whereas, for example, like the second grade book, it is two books in one. I'm sorry. They're doing a front and a back, and that's a little bit more intimidating for her, honestly, because the book is thicker. So these are two smaller books, and so they're not quite as big. So she was fine with just doing one page out of this book, one page out of the next book, and you're doing a page every single day. So again, it's going to start off very gently, very easy, but then it's going to progress. So this is focusing not so much on the special sounds and circling the phonics and anything like that. This is really sentences and completing sentences and making sentences that make sense. Lesson 31, you're already you're copying sentences, but they're getting an idea of what it needs to have. It usually ends with a period, so that's what they want the child to focus on. These are compound words. They're learning rhyming words. So I'll kind of let you get an idea of how this is going to go. Compound words, again, this is kind of like a critical thinking exercise that they're including. And I do love it, you know, you can see that there is a variety of exercises. They're not doing the same thing over and over and over again. They're dividing words between double consonants, and they're doing the syllables, things like that, adding on suffixes. So you can see this is going to bring a totally different approach. There's totally different exercises and things that they are focusing on in this book. As we flip through this, I want you to notice how many sentences they are writing. So we're finished with the copying of sentences, like here. Now they're on their own. So lesson 81. So about halfway through the school year is when they are starting to write their own sentences. You can see here. And as far as the level of detail they get into first grade, they only want you to know that for a sentence, you do a capital letter and a period. That's pretty much as far as the depth of, they're not getting into subjects, verbs, any parts of speech, anything like that, nouns, anything. It's just starts with a capital letter, ends with a period. So again, notice the amount of sentences they are writing, almost one every day. They're writing a little thing about Abraham Lincoln. With this one, they're kind of like creating their own story just based off of the picture. So a little bit of creative writing, but it gives you a little bit of a prompt. Tell what they like, what they eat, and what they do. Again, fixing out the ending, the suffixes. So I do feel like it gives a very good variety of exercises to do. We loved Abeka. Their language program in first grade was amazing. I loved it. Now they're doing ABC order. So you can just see all the different, these were my favorite. Oh my goodness, they were my favorite. To see like their little pictures, it just made me smile so big whenever I saw them, because it just did my heart so good. This is her bedroom. This is, what is this? The slide. This is a slide. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, anyway, moving onward. So here we go. Oh, she didn't do that exercise that day. Here's another picture. So you get the idea. Here's the end, the last day. So that was how we did language. We pretty much, as you could see, for the language, the letters and sounds, we stuck to it. We did it every single day, and that worked really, really well for us. I'm going to quickly review the books. There are 9 of them. It goes from 1A all the way until I, and each book has a different theme that you'll be able to see. And I really liked the readers. We both liked the readers. You'll see that it starts off, you'll be able to see the progression of the books. It's going to incorporate their phonics rules all the way from beginning to end. So that is something that is definitely carried throughout in Abeka, throughout their entire language arts program, is their phonics. Their emphasis and reinforcement of their phonics rules. And then there's little exercises too sometimes that you can do. We just did these out loud. We never did these obviously to fill in the blank. I'd like to resell these. And then here there's some reading comprehension questions at the end to make sure that they are not just reading the words, but actually comprehending what they're saying as well. Stepping stones, and then you'll see it'll start to progress a little bit more. Words to watch for, so this is some either sight words or words that may be a little bit tricky. And now we're getting to their font is smaller, the sentences are longer, the stories are longer. They will require towards like the middle, maybe the end of the year, actually closer to the beginning of the year, I'm going to say reading twice a day. So my daughter honestly didn't love that. I didn't make her do twice a day reading. I just had her do once a day. And so we read most of these books. She did get through most of them, but kind of towards the end of the year, like 3/4 of the way through the year, I want to say. I think she got all the way to Aesop's Fables. So she didn't read the last 3. We kind of decided just that she was a good enough reader that she could just read the books on her own that she chose. I'm a big fan of interest-led reading, especially at this age, because you want to pique their interest and make them enjoy reading from the beginning. And so she did enjoy these. I won't say like this was a fail for us. These books were great. She just had a few other books that she just preferred to read. So we did that for the rest of the year for the reading. So the last 3 books we didn't get to, but I still wouldn't say like this didn't work for us. I think it really did, and it really helped solidify her reading skills. Down by the Sea, so you can see different themes here as well. This just gives you an idea of the types of, by the end of the year, how fluent they will be reading. Now, everybody obviously is going to read at different levels, so your child this may be too easy for them, or it may not be. This might be too difficult. So that's something to consider as well, that you don't necessarily have to just go by what these books are saying, but the reason they incorporate them is because they do follow how they teach the special sounds and the phonics rules and things like that. But again, if your child is not at this reading level, that's totally okay. It really is. If they're fine with the phonics, but they're not reading that far, no worries. They will one day. Okay, so that's the reading. Okay, so those all worked wonderfully and beautifully for us. I would do that again in a heartbeat and would recommend it if you are looking for a sound phonics program that's going to teach your child to read well. It's to the point. I would recommend Abeka. Now, what didn't work for us? This is what I kind of want to get across, is that even like the best curriculum that you feel is like, wow, this works really great, you are probably not going to find that it 100% works for you, or 100% works with every single one of your children. This is how Abeka works. There's 170 lessons. The first 85 lessons, they are instructing on handwriting. The second 85 lessons are on creative writing. So when we got to that, I kind of knew in the back of my head, like, this might not end well. And so, but I went into it with positivity, excitement, and because I feel like it's all in the way you present it as well. And so I tried to be very enthusiastic about it, and it didn't fool her. It didn't fool her though. She kind of saw through that. So I'm gonna do, as I speak, I'm gonna do a flip through so that you can see like what the creative writing entailed, and as far as like because there's a writing tablet, a first grade writing tablet, and that is where they are doing their creative writing. So it didn't work for us. It was nothing against Abeka or their approach. It just, she wasn't in the mindset and wasn't quite ready to do that. And that's, so we gave up on it. I'm not gonna, I'll just get to the point. We gave up on it. Did I give up on it after one day? No, of course not. I am not the type that is just like, oh, you don't like it, precious? Okay. And into the trash it goes. No, obviously I'm going to make sure, let's try it this way. Let's try it this way. Let's try it this way. And after, if it's still this is awful and terrible and just causing so much more stress and anxiety, then let's scale back and reconsider, right? So how it started was basically, the creative writing part that we did, I can't speak for how it is for the entire year because we didn't get to that, but how the creative writing that we did, it was basically I was gonna read a paragraph and she had to basically say 3 facts that she thought was interesting about the paragraph and write them down as a sentence. So we started to do that. I got pushed back immediately. So I tried to say, let's be creative. All the sentences, all the paragraphs were under the sea, fish related. And so what I tried to do is I brought her sisters in and I made it a group activity, and we Google imaged the fish that the jellyfish or whatever they were talking about, or a coral reef. And we said, okay, what's your favorite one? And they all got to pick it. And yes, so that worked for about a day or two. And then the excitement of that wore off. And we were back to I'll just let you use your imagination. It didn't go well. So then I thought, well, what else can I do? I said, well, how about she tells me the sentences out loud, like an oral narration, and then I write them down for her, and then she just copies over my actual letters that I wrote. So you can kind of get the point. This was like, she just wasn't ready to do this. And, you know, stepping back, I'm like, wait a second, she's only in first grade. First graders, honestly, in my mind, are babies when it comes to like reading and writing and all that. They're just learning to read and get those foundations, and that takes so much of their mental energy to get that. And then we're asking them, oh, and on top of that, like, write 3 or 4 sentences. It doesn't sound like a lot to us, but it's a lot to them. Not every first grader. I'm not going to say that everyone is overwhelmed, but too many, I think it is overwhelming. And so if you find your child in that situation, just step back. So the reason I felt okay with stopping the creative writing part of it is because I did look through that language book that we had, and that's why I pointed out to you multiple times in the flip through, look how many sentences they're writing, look how many, because almost every day they were writing 2 or 3 sentences. Now, she didn't give me too much, she didn't bulk too much on that and give me too much pushback. She pretty much did those every single day fine, without any issue. And I was like, you know what? That is plenty for me. She is learning her phonics. She is learning about basic sentence structure of like capitalizing, and she's writing a sentence or 2, and she's reading, and that is fine with me. And I was totally okay with that. So no, the writing did not work for us. And I don't think it's bad. I just think that sometimes first graders are asked a lot, and they don't need that much. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about, like, let's have a very firm and solid foundation when it comes to reading and writing. Like, I really am. I'm not just like taking it like, this is not, like, I really honestly am serious about having a solid foundation. But I also have to take a step back and be realistic about it and say, this is not working. She is miserable. I'm causing her anxiety and frustration, and she's going to end up hating writing in the future, because these are going to be her first memories of it. Her first memories of writing is, I hated doing this, and I cried, and my mom still made me do it. And that's not what I'm not interested in doing that. So that's what did not work for us. Would I use Abeka again? Absolutely. Would I recommend it? Yes. Will their entire program work for everybody? Of course not. But I do think it is a great solid foundation, and I would do it again, minus the writing part. I just wanted to add this. I had this entire video filmed and edited and ready to upload, and my daughter showed me this today. I did not ask her to do this. This is a Sunday afternoon. It's not school time. It's not any assignment. I just came in and she had made this. And it's a whole book that she's writing. She said she's going to do it from back to front. And it is called, I'll read it since it's a little bit, she erased, My Family I Love. So I'm going to tell you about them. I have 3 sisters, and they're great. They're funny, cute, and most of all, well, they're the best sisters I could ever have, with 4 exclamation points. Next is my parents. Now, they are just wow. I can't tell you how much I love them. Well, let's go on then. I tell you, they are so, well, yeah. When she read this to me, I almost started crying. And so this is what I want to foster. I want to foster organic writing, not me forcing her to do sentences out of a book, and because it's on a Monday through Friday in school hours. She just did this completely on her own. I had no idea. I was shocked when she turned around and said, yep, I'm writing a book. I'm going to be an author. And this is just what I'm trying to convey, like fostering a love for just learning in general and going at their pace. And I mean, she wrote this is definitely more than 3 sentences. It's half a page. And so it's her second week of second grade. I just wanted to share this as like an encouragement in case you've been where I've been and you just felt torn and felt like, well, I need to do this because the curriculum says so or because other children are doing so. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video to be useful and helpful. If you haven't done so already, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel so that you can see more content like this. Also, if you are on Instagram, you can follow me over there at The Practical Homeschooler. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Again, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate your time to watch any video that I do. It means so much to me. So if you would like to, you can also give this video a thumbs up if it helped you and if you felt like you got something from it. Anyway, have a great day. Until next time, see you later.